he's going to share all about his wonderful trip.
Thank you very much. Who out there wins things on a regular basis? Because my hand isn't up in that case. I don't usually find it, but I actually won a trip to New York. Well, I won a trip to anywhere I wanted to go in the continental United States, wherever Sheraton had a resort. I got to pick and get flown there with my wife for 2 nights. I couldn't believe it. I won it at a trade show a few months back, and so what we did was we picked New York City. We were going to go in Christmas time, but my wife had some issues with missing work, so we went, and it's her spring break. So we won a trip to New York, and I want to tell you all about it. I want to thank our lovely terrorists for the security that goes on at the airport. Every time I take off my shoes and take off my belt and my wallet and my keys and my phones and everything and put them in and take out my laptop out of the bag that I'm carrying and go through there, I just thank them 10 years ago for what they did to our country. But anyway, we get to New York. I've never been to New York. Who's been to New York? Okay. I was very excited. I'd never been to New York, my wife had never been to New York, and we were really looking forward. We booked a play to go to on Broadway, and we were going to go to the Statue of Liberty. So when we get off the airport, everything went really great. And we get off, and we're ready for that great New York experience of the taxi ride. From the airport to downtown, to Times Square where our hotel is. By the way, the Sheraton has a lot of different properties, and I got to pick through all these, and there's one called the W. This is a new kind of hotel, and it looked kind of cool. I was online, this is a pretty fancy looking hotel, kind of hip and trendy if you ask me. So that's the one we booked right down there in Times Square. We get the taxi ride. Immediately, we were wishing we'd taken Dramamine. and we're holding on, and this guy, they're on the gas, they're on the brake, they're on the gas, they're on the brake, they're weaving in, they're taking every advantage, pressing, always white knuckle driving all day long. So finally we get to our destination, we get out of that cab, okay, good. And we're never so happy to get out of the cab. We go in, now the W was this nondescript hotel, and I thought I'd walk in and go to the checkout counter, but it was a dark little cavernous place in there with some weird mood lighting, and they says, no, you have to go up to the 7th floor to check in. Okay, so I go up to the 7th floor, we get up there and we say, their name please, that's Toastmasters, and they're looking, and then they say those dreaded words, could it be under another name?
Oh, no.
So my wife had the paper, we printed it out, we did our stuff, and she handed it to them, and they look at it, and right there it says, the W, downtown. Well, I've never been to New York before. Come to find out, Times Square is not downtown Manhattan. There's a whole other downtown, which was where our hotel was. So we were defeated. We slunk back out of there with our bags, and we hailed another taxi to take us downtown. So as we're pulling away from Times Square, which I picked out because we're going to go to a Broadway play that night, and we're going to be able to walk there and have our dinner there and walk back to the hotel, and everything's going to be great. As we're driving away, and it's getting uglier and uglier. I mean, we're in the meatpacking district, the garment district, and finally we arrive downtown. Another W where you walk and you go up to the 5th floor this time, check in, they're nice. We go up to our room, and it's a very hip, trendy looking room. I mean, there's no direct lighting anywhere. Everything's white or black. And, you know, God help you if you drop something on the floor that's black or dark color, because you're not going to find it. Then I open up the window, and I look out at this construction scene. But you know what it is? It's ground zero right outside my window. Right out there was this construction site, and there were these 2 buildings that were kind of half constructed, and then these 2 square pods in the ground that they're going to be the memorial to Ground Zero. So what was really a drag leaving Times Square put us right there with history, with Ground Zero right there outside our window. I got to look at it for 2 days in a row. And you know, it's nothing more than a construction area, big barricades up there. You wouldn't even have noticed it as you drove in. But as I looked down there, I just realized the history of it. So anyway, we went to our play that night. We went to dinner. We told the people at the restaurant that we were celebrating our 10th anniversary, so they brought us champagne. Really, it was not our anniversary, and our next one in April is our 12th anniversary. But we said it was our 10th because when it was our 10th, we didn't have anything, we didn't celebrate it. So I told the people next, I said, it's 10 of the happiest years of my life. My wife slugged me. And then we walked around, and we go see this play, Wicked, which I will recommend. And green, okay, very good. So I get back and had a great day. The next day, we went to the Statue of Liberty. My wife had the foresight, honey, you had the great foresight to book not only to the Statue of Liberty, but up to the crown. And not everybody gets to do this. You have to book this way in advance, and we heard that all day long. How do you get those tickets? You got to do it in advance. We had the wristband, haha. We're going up. Now, it is kind of a haul. You got to go up these like spiral staircases all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Now you're in this little tiny thing, and it's just that little thing. But so then we go down. But it was very, very cool. But what I really wanted to tell you about was Monday morning. But Wall Street is where we were, and the whole weekend it was kind of dead around there. But on Monday morning, we go and we get our breakfast at this little place called George's Deli, which is a little hole-in-the-wall place. We talked to George, 32 years from Greece, he's here, running that thing. I said, were you here on 9/11? No, I was actually on a plane coming back from Greece, and they turned the plane around that day. He was on a plane coming back to New York City on 9/11. And what I loved about him is he says, they hate us in the rest of the world. He didn't say, they hate America. This immigrant from 32 years said, they hate us. I liked that. But here's the thing. There's a place there called The Path, P-A-T-H. It stands for Port Authority Trans-Hudson. It's the subway that everybody's coming into offshore New Jersey, and people were pouring out of there. It was like 8:39 in the morning, and it's right there at ground zero, and I'm looking at him, I looked at these people. There's people in suits, sure, but there's the girl that's wearing the tennis shoes as she walks to her job. She's probably the gift exchange girl, that works at the gift counter on floor 1 of one of these big, tall buildings. And there's all kinds of people, and I realized the 3,000 people that died that day weren't the biggest, most powerful power brokers in our country. American ideology was attacked that day by cowards. But the people that paid were us, you and me, Americans, just people going to work. It could have happened that day, it could have happened any day. And it really brought that home, and that was the big aha moment for me, and I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you very much.